Premier League season winds down, we're going to start discussing the candidates, or should I say candidate, for the English Premier League Player of the Year. Jason ran a poll, and we're going to look into the...
Again, empirical evidence.
It's the go-to evidence. There's no one else that you can go to for a good survey on Twitter. So Jason basically posted Premier League Player of the Year, Eden Hazard, Alexis Sanchez, Romelu Lukaku, and then the undisputed heavyweight champion of Jason's Twitter, N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, there's a lot of responses. He had 58% of the 173 votes. There's still an hour and 6 minutes. If you're watching on Facebook, you can go vote now. I don't know. I just took what Fox Sports' top 4 were.
Yeah.
I think you can put in Zlatan. I mean,
good call.
He's a popularity vote, but you can probably get him.
I think there's a...
Well, he had an effect. Don't get me wrong. He's had a very good impact. Has he had the impact N'Golo Kante's had? No.
There's a good case for Zlatan.
There's a good case for Zlatan? I actually thought... So this is so mean. I forgot Jamie Vardy won it last year. I thought Kante won it last year.
No.
Because he was that good.
He was there or thereabouts. I think he was in the running. Vardy won it. Mahrez won it, and Vardy won...
PFA Player of the Year?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so I have a different chart. I have the PFA Player of the Year. That's what Vardy won.
Yes.
And I went back to, this is the only element we got. I pulled it back from the double Ronaldo year, which right before that was Thierry Henry.
Oh no, you're right. This is the PFA Player of the Year. I think Mahrez won the players voted Player of the Year.
He deserves it.
So both of them can.
Hazard has a chance at getting it back, which again is unbelievable because like even his career player profile, like 15, 16, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's just like a new guy on the map.
It's like when you see like a DNP did not play, it just says, his career just says 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. There is
none in between. So there's not even I don't think there's a case to be made for anyone. It's simply put, N'Golo Kante is the reason why Chelsea are top of the table. One of the main reasons. N'Golo Kante was one of the main reasons why Leicester City won the Premier League. It's very rare that you get a player who can literally, if you want to make the case for him, you have case study right there. You say, hey, let's take a look at Leicester at this point last year. Okay, let's take a look at Leicester this year.
I know,
What's the difference? What's the difference?
They're going to win the Champions League.
Very good. In the Premier League, what's the difference? And you look at the roster and you're thinking, okay, they've got Vardy, Mahrez, Huth, Morgan, Drinkwater, Schmeichel.
Yeah, seriously, they have
everyone almost exactly the same. Managed a couple of changes, apart from one man who's welcomed back like a hero, and rightfully so, N'Golo Kante.
I made a point. I was playing FIFA because that's the most realistic way to judge a player's character and how good they are on the field. I was upset that my lazy players, because they were all very lazy when I play with them, understandably. I was playing as Spain. What a crap roster. You know, I said, oh, it's like Villa and Iniesta and Busquets and Costa. It's just terrible. Pedro just... You know what I realized? None of them have like hunt ball button. I wanted a hunt ball button, right? And then I finally realized, I was like, you know who does that really well? N'Golo Kante.
Yes.
They played as Chelsea. And all of a sudden, in the midfield, you don't have to do anything. Ball is just there. All of a sudden, Kante's just screaming for it, picking it up with his hands, which is illegal, and just throwing it into the back.
The referee's probably like, it's fine.
It's fine. He's just working so hard for it. But I guess the point being is that even the video game realizes that he comes to the ball and he will also find it. You've discussed this in your tactics videos from last season. It's part of the reason that made Kante such a terrifying person to strategize against.
Yeah.
Because physical play is just going to get you booked.
And the thing about him is he's proven he can fit into 2 different systems. He's playing in a system that for Chelsea now that's a difficult one to run. Antonio Conte has proven the falsities that you can't cheat. You need to go with a traditional 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1 in the Premier League. Well, when you have the players to fit into a system and buy into the hard-working mentality needed, then you can be successful. And N'Golo Kante, his #1 attribute, many people will look around hunting, but if you minimize it, it's anticipation. He anticipates where the ball's going to be. He's very good at doing that. And that's such a useful quality. Ricardo Carvalho, who played centre-back for Chelsea, funnily enough, was one of the best centre-backs I had seen when I watched, because he wasn't as fast as many strikers. He wasn't as strong. He kind of like a gangly-looking guy. He was so intelligent, and he anticipated. So in his mind, he would always see John Terry's going to miss that ball up for a header. I need to cover behind him and take over. Or he's not going to make that tackle. I've got to be there. Or he's going to beat him one-on-one. I've got to be there. And N'Golo Kante anticipates. I get taught this as a young age, and I'm sure a lot of players did as well, is that it's not like you don't trust your teammates. You just got to trust that on the odd occurrence, something might not go to plan and someone might get in behind them and you need to cover them. N'Golo Kante, as I will always say, is the world's best footballing version of a condom. He's just protecting the life out of you. He's literally going to,
So he's like, what, 98.9% effective?
Exactly, he's 98.9, he's 98.9% effective in that midfield area. That's the odd occasion he might not be there, but he will cover. And that's all through having a high IQ and being able to anticipate in front of him. So if he doesn't win it this year, it's a catastrophe. There was a great case to be made from last year. So I don't know.
I just got to say now, at any point, please, someone, do you have a spare N'Golo Kante on you? Thank you. I'm heading upstairs.
N'Golo Kante, made by Jura.
Be a Trojan horse, just like N'Golo Kante. I was going to say that is N'Golo Kante looking at as like a team of the decade-esque midfielder in terms of how much impact he's had on two different teams. Also, how difficult is it to do this on two different teams? Like, is Chelsea his home now? He's 25 and he costs such little comparatively money.
Yeah, this is a perfect fit for him because Chelsea have been known, recent history Chelsea, of having players that do that job. Matic did it pretty well a couple of years ago, but it found out Fabregas not as much. So he was a player that you need with him. Makelele, I've talked to you about him. He was the original. He was he's the one that everyone's been cloned off of. And N'Golo Kante is a Makelele, but with I think a little bit of a more energetic approach to it. Makelele in his latter years was still so smart and was able to be that protective defensive midfielder. And N'Golo Kante, he's almost like Makelele, just giving a little jolt of energy now and again. But Makelele was so good at it. Makelele did it for Real Madrid as well. And when he left, Real Madrid spent years trying to replace him. They couldn't find anyone. They had to I still don't think they've found a true replacement. I think they go with like Casemiro's. They go with Khedira played there. I like Casemiro. I like defensive midfielders. There's not been a perfect fit.
You're defensive.
No, I was an attacking mid. In America specifically, I like playing attacking mid.
What about in Europe?
I played defence, left back, and then centre back. Sergio Busquets.
The difference is your defender, so we needed to play you up front because in America we can't play defense.
I wasn't enjoying it as much, so I had to move in. But if there's, I think N'Golo Kante will be the. This is bold, but I don't care. He will be the example the way Sergio Busquets is the example for anyone who wants to try and emulate the success of Barcelona in their league. Like everyone wants, when you're thinking of a Spanish team, say you were building them from scratch and you wanted to get the player in each position, right? If you had the choice, you'd be like, all right, for defensive midfielder, we need a Sergio Busquets. We need someone in there who's going to protect us, but he's still talented on the ball. In the Premier League now, what's happened is you're going to have people being like, if they're building their team from scratch, they'll be like, fuck, who's going to be our N'Golo Kante?
Yeah, well,
that's how good he's been.
Barring health, as always with any player, he's looking at probably the height of his prime.
I think
27 years old at the World Cup in 2018. 26 next year.
If France do everything right, they are going to be a powerhouse if they're able to mature that team. Because that midfield, the talent and the ability they have, Kante.
It's fine. Just keep counting out Gareth Bale.
Pogba.
Fine. What about Iceland?
Griezmann. Oh, who knows? I mean, who does?
I just want the Euros back. That was fun. Look at this.
Get the World Cup.
So I had the hood up because just, outer Jason. What would be an outer Jason, inner Jason moment?
Outer Jason would be to have Balotelli. No, inner Jason would be Balotelli. Outer Jason would be N'Golo Kante is going to win the vote.
Balotelli for 300 million.
Balotelli. All right, who do you think? I mean, is it really a question? Should we just give it to N'Golo Kante now? Chelsea win the Premier League, just as you mentioned.
Zlatan wins the Europa League.
Just as you mentioned but that doesn't count for the Premier League.
Right.
No one's going to care.
Wow. Just, we're going to keep that.
It's going to be Premier League. But as to pick up on this last point, as you mentioned in the MVP voting with the NBA, there can be someone who's had a phenomenal season, but to be considered, really, you really need to be top 2, top 3. More often than not, that's where the winners come from.
Eriksen got a nod from somebody. Tottenham's been good.
He's a good player. Alexis Sanchez, on paper, has been one of the best in the Premier League, if not the best at times.
Yeah, but
he's never going to.
Wenger's not going to vote for him.
Yeah, Wenger's going to be like, nah, he doesn't fit my style of play anymore. That's why he's not playing.
I just don't want to.
It's a referee's fault.
I do one more year. If you comment below, I stay 5 more years. If you
subscribe, 0 comments.